So, to win a World Cup, conventional logic dictates that you usually have to beat the defending champions.
Right. That's usually how it goes.
But yesterday, the West Indies actually managed to secure their spot in the semifinals by losing to Ireland.
Which is just a crazy statistical anomaly.
It really is. And the only reason that statistical anomaly is even possible is because later that very same day, England played a game of cricket that literally retired 3 legendary players at once.
Yeah, and they just completely shattered records in the process.
Exactly. So welcome to this deep dive into the climactic final group stage encounter of the 2026 T20 World Cup between host nation England and defending champions New Zealand.
It is honestly the perfect case study in tournament psychology. I mean, you have England coming in undefeated, looking basically impenetrable.
Right.
And on the other side, New Zealand is sitting at 2 wins and 2 losses. They are the reigning champions, sure, but they're staring elimination right in the face.
They absolutely had to win to advance.
Exactly. The stakes, they really couldn't be more clearly drawn.
And the backdrop for this was just staggering. Like, if you were walking into the Oval in South London yesterday, you were part of a crowd of 21,018 people.
Wow.
Yeah. That is the highest attendance ever recorded for a T20 Women's World Cup group stage match. The atmosphere was just electric.
I can only imagine.
But, our mission today isn't just to talk about the crowd or, like, the final score, which was a massive 9-wicket victory for England, by the way.
Right, a total blowout.
Yeah. We are going to unpack the actual mechanics of how this single match served as a profound changing of the guard in women's cricket.
Sounds good.
So let's start with the mountain England had to climb, because New Zealand came out with a strategy that frankly looked like they were ready to burn the whole stadium down.
Yeah, they adopted what you might call a high-risk survival strategy, because when you're the underdog facing an undefeated team, you just cannot afford to play into their rhythm.
Makes sense.
You have to disrupt it immediately. So New Zealand stuck with their opening pair from the Scotland match, Melie Kerr and Isabella Gaze, and they actually managed to put up 70 runs in the first 60 balls.
Which is an incredibly fast start. I mean, I was watching Danny Gibson's opening over, and Melie Kerr's approach actually made me gasp.
Oh, it was wild.
Right. She hits 2 boundaries in 3 balls.
Yeah.
The first is, a beautiful traditional back foot drive. You expect that.
Sure.
But 2 deliveries later, she pulls out a ramp shot. She uses the sheer pace of Gibson's delivery, gets underneath it, and just flicks it over the wicketkeeper's head.
Yeah.
Like, to attempt that in the opening overs of an elimination game feels statistically insane.
Well, it is incredibly dangerous. To execute a ramp shot against a pace bowler like Gibson, your margin for error is measured in, fractions of a second.
Right.
If you misjudge the bounce or the swing by a millimeter, you either edge it straight to the keeper or you just get bowled outright.
Why risk it?
Because Kerr understood that traditional stroke play wasn't going to rattle England, she had to manufacture unpredictability. By stepping inside the line of the ball and ramping it, she basically forced England's captain to immediately reconsider her field placements. It's psychological warfare disguised as batting.
That's a great way to put it. But that aggressive posture almost backfired spectacularly just 2 balls later.
Oh, with Gaze.
Yeah, Isabella Gaze decides she needs to match Kerr's aggression, goes for a big shot, and gets a thick edge.
Yep.
And the ball flies straight to England's wicketkeeper, Amy Jones, who is usually just an absolute magnet back there.
She really is.
And she drops it. It just pops right out of her gloves.
And that dropped catch was absolute oxygen for New Zealand.
How so?
Well, in T20 cricket, surviving the 6-over power play without losing a wicket is a massive statistical advantage. Because Jones put that ball down, New Zealand reached the end of the power play at 44 for no loss.
Wow.
They were building a foundation that allowed them to just keep swinging freely.
It's funny. I kept thinking about a spacecraft using up all of its booster fuel just to break through the atmosphere. Like, they were throwing everything they had into that first 60 balls to reach orbit.
Right. Like a prize fighter coming out, swinging in the final round, fighting for survival.
Exactly. Did it seem to you like New Zealand was dictating the terms, or were they just riding their luck with that dropped catch?
I mean, a bit of both. But the problem with burning your boosters that early, to use your analogy, is that you need a really solid secondary engine to keep you moving in space.
And once that 70-run partnership ended, New Zealand's engine just completely gave out.
Totally stalled.
Yeah.
And the mechanism of that collapse is entirely a testament to England's bowling strategy.
Oh, specifically the work of Sophie Ecclestone.
Yes. She was brought into the attack, and her first 2 overs yielded only 7 runs.
let's break down how she actually does that. Because, to the untrained eye, a dot ball just looks like a batter deciding not to run.
Oh, it's far more insidious than that. Ecclestone creates what we call invisible pressure.
Invisible pressure. Okay, explain that.
She doesn't rely on raw speed, right? She relies on trajectory and drift. She bowls these tight, stifling lines that angle directly into the batter's body or cramp their swing radius.
So they literally can't swing the bat properly.
Exactly. If a batter can't fully extend their arms, they can't generate power. So you have Isabella Gaze facing this relentless accuracy. Gaze had just hit 2 boundaries off Freya Kemp.
Right.
But because Ecclestone had starved her of runs at the other end, Gaze felt this overwhelming urge to maximize Kemp's over.
I see where this is going.
On the final ball, she tries to muscle a shot over, long on, mistimes it because she's overcompensating, and skies it to Alice Capsey for an easy catch.
Wow. So that invisible pressure essentially tricked Gaze into making a fatal error against a totally different bowler.
Exactly.
That is brilliant. And the bleeding really starts flowing when Danny Gibson comes back into the attack. I mean, Gibson had clearly taken that earlier ram shot personally.
Oh, absolutely.
She bowls to Melie Kerr, and Kerr tries to execute another scoop shot. But this time, Gibson adjusts her length just slightly. Kerr misses completely and hears her stumps shatter.
And the reaction from Kerr was really telling. The match report actually notes she threw her head back and thrashed her bat through the air in absolute fury.
She was livid.
She was, because that marked the 3rd time in 4 innings she had failed to convert a strong start into a massive score.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Right. And when your lead batter, the one who set the aggressive tone, walks off the pitch visibly furious, that anxiety bleeds directly into the dressing room.
It's contagious.
Completely.
Yeah.
The incoming batters suddenly feel the weight of the innings entirely on their shoulders.
And Gibson capitalized on that anxiety instantly. 2 deliveries later, she bowls to Izzy Sharp. She drags the ball through from outside the off stump, finding that tiny corridor of uncertainty. Yep. Sharp gets an outside edge, and the ball clatters right into the stumps. Gibson finishes with 2 for 30, and in the blink of an eye, New Zealand plummets from 70 for no loss to 70 for 3.
And this is where the veteran presence of Sophie Devine comes into play. I mean, she walks into a full-blown crisis.
Yeah, top order is gone.
Right. The momentum has swung violently to England, and she knows a subpar total means elimination. Devine's response was to try and violently seize control of the narrative.
Which she is so good at.
She really is. She was sitting on 27 runs from 10 balls, and then she unleashes 3 enormous consecutive leg side sixes, 30 runs off 14 balls.
Man, watching her hit those sixes was like watching someone try to punch their way out of a sinking ship.
That's a great image.
The mechanics of her swing, like the sheer torque she generates from her hips, is just incredible.
It's unmatched.
She builds a 54-run partnership with Brooke Halliday in just 29 deliveries, dragging the White Ferns back up to a 124 for 3.
Right, so the narrative was shifting again.
Exactly. And, we always talk about these massive batting rescues. We love the highlight reels of the big sixes. But the moment that actually broke my brain in this match wasn't a batting highlight at all.
Let me guess. Charlie Dean in the field.
Yes. The run out of Brooke Halliday. I mean, we always talk about the big hits, but doesn't a run out like Dean's prove that razor-sharp fielding is actually the ultimate weapon for breaking a team's spirit?
Oh, without a doubt.
Because Halliday hits a delivery from Lauren Bell into the offside. She takes off for a quick single. And Charlie Dean, who is, by the way, acting as the captain for England in this match.
Right, extra pressure on her.
She swoops in from just inside the fielding ring. She picks up the ball one-handed, on the run, and fires a direct hit to the non-striker's end, shattering the scumps while Halliday is well short of the crease.
Unbelievable play.
To me, a fielding play like that is the ultimate psychological weapon. It's like an action movie hero hitting a crucial target right as the villains are escaping, or like cutting the microphone cable mid-sentence while your opponent is giving a speech.
That is an excellent way to frame it. A spectacular run-out against the run of play completely shorts out a team's momentum. It requires immense spatial awareness. I mean, Dean had to calculate the speed of the ball, her own intercept vector, the speed of the runner, and the exact location of a target less than 10 inches wide.
All in, what, a second or two?
Right, in roughly 2 seconds. When a fielding team executes that, it sends a really chilling message to the batters. It basically says, you are not safe, even when you hit the ball.
Oh, that's brutal. And it completely unraveled Sophie Devine's concentration. Just 2 balls. After watching her partner get run out by a miracle throw, Devine tries to slog Lauren Bell, misses the line entirely, gets hit on the pads, and is given out LBW.
She called for a review, obviously hoping the ball had pitched outside the line or was missing the stumps.
But the ball tracking technology confirmed it.
Yeah, it was a perfect delivery. It was absolutely plumb. So within the space of 3 deliveries, New Zealand lost their set batter to a mathematically improbable runout and their captain to a perfectly executed trap.
Like we said, the engine didn't just stall, it fell out of the chassis.
It really did.
So Suzie Bates came in for the final push. This was only her 3rd game of the tournament, and she scrambled for 19 runs off 13 balls to drag the target up to 164.
Right.
But fittingly, she was run out on the final delivery of the innings. New Zealand finishes at 163 for 6. And, we really have to pause here because that final run out carried a massive historical weight that goes way beyond this single tournament.
It marked the definitive end of an era. With that final ball, the international careers of Sophie Devine, Suzie Bates, and Lea Tahuhu officially came to a close.
3 absolute titans of the sport retiring at the group stage.
Yeah. Combined, those 3 women have 448 international caps.
448. That is just, wow.
It's an astonishing volume of institutional memory, leadership, and trailblazing experience walking off the pitch for the last time. I mean, they carried New Zealand cricket through its most transformative decade, elevating the professionalism of the sport.
Absolutely.
The vacuum their retirement leaves in that dressing room is difficult to overstate.
It's a really sobering thought. But, on the other side of the pitch, England is looking at a target of 164. Now, if you are a cricket fan, you know that historically, chasing 160-plus in a women's T20 World Cup is a formidable psychological barrier.
Huge barrier.
The scoreboard pressure alone can induce panic.
Yeah.
You start swinging at bad deliveries just to keep the run rate up.
Because the math is constantly in your head, right? You know you need more than 8 runs and over, every single over.
Yeah.
If a bowler delivers a quiet over of just 3 or 4 runs, the required run rate spikes and the pressure just compounds.
But England's opening batter, Amy Jones, decided to completely ignore the math and just attack the physics.
She really did.
In the first 3 overs, England puts up 31 runs. Jones goes after Bree Elling, hitting 3 fours and 5 balls. And she's doing it with such variety, like pulling short balls, cutting wide ones, driving anything pitched up.
Just relentless.
She gets caught in mid-off for 31 off Nancy Patel. But she effectively dismantled the scoreboard pressure immediately. By the end of the power play, England is sitting at 57 for 1, matching their best power play of the entire tournament.
See, that foundation is precisely what New Zealand failed to build upon. Because Jones absorbed the initial risk and neutralized the required run rate early, she bought time and space for the next batters.
Which brings us to the centerpiece of this match. Danni Wyatt-Hodge and Sophia Dunkley walk to the crease and proceed to put together a 128-run, unbroken partnership.
Incredible.
Dunkley finishes with a perfectly calibrated 49 not out, just anchoring her end. But Wyatt-Hodge, man, she finishes with 89 not out off 53 balls.
Yeah.
The match report uses the word masterclass, and honestly, even that feels like an understatement.
Yeah, it was a surgical dismantling of the opposition. What made it remarkable was her adaptability, especially when you factor in the environmental interruption.
Oh, the rain. Right.
Yeah.
Right after the power play, a sudden South London downpour forces the players off the pitch. If you've ever been deeply focused on a complex task at work, and your internet cuts out for 20 minutes, you know how hard it is to get back into that flow state.
Exactly.
Now imagine doing that while someone is trying to hurl a dense leather ball at your head at 70 miles per hour.
Well, the physiological disruption of a rain delay is severe. Your muscles cool down. The grip on your bat changes as the humidity spikes.
Right, the equipment feels different.
And the pitch itself alters. Moisture can make the ball skid faster or grip the surface unexpectedly. A batter has to go back out there and instantly recalibrate their reaction times and their footwork.
Which is exactly what she did. I mean, It was like watching a high-performance car with an anti-lock braking system.
That's a great analogy.
She hit the slick conditions and instantly adjusted her traction to maintain total control. She reaches her 50 off just 33 balls. She completely neutralizes Melie Kerr, hitting her for 3 boundaries in a single over, and then does the exact same thing to Nancy Patel in the next over. She was stepping deep into her crease to cut the spinners, and then striding forward to drive them at will.
Right.
She manipulated the field placement so thoroughly that the bowler's strategy basically became irrelevant.
And that's the thing. When a batter is dictating the length a bowler can bowl simply by moving around the crease, the bowler has lost all agency. Wyatt-Hodge was commanding the geography of the pitch.
Considering she's dominated in totally different conditions, right? From sweltering heat earlier in the week to rain delays in London, is this one of the most complete, adaptable individual tournament performances we've ever seen?
It really is. That is the definition of a complete player. Yep. She isn't relying on a single ideal set of conditions. She is solving the specific puzzle placed in front of her each day. And, her performance against New Zealand didn't just win the match. It decimated the record books. She isn't just scoring runs. She is psychologically dismantling opponents and redefining consistency in the game's most volatile format.
It's true. England chased down the 164-run target with 16 balls remaining.
Just unbelievable.
They had almost 3 full overs left. That is the highest successful run chase at the Oval since the 2009 T20 Women's World Cup semifinal against Australia.
Which is a massive deal.
And Wyatt-Hodge herself became the highest run scorer at a single T20 Women's World Cup, sitting at 282 runs and counting, adding to her previous undefeated century against Sri Lanka and that tough 65 in sweltering heat against the West Indies.
Okay.
Like a chess grandmaster playing speed chess.
Oh, she already knows the opponent's moves before they make them, and the efficiency of that chase is what should absolutely terrify the other semifinalists. They didn't scrape over the line, they sprinted past it.
Which brings us back to the ultimate fallout of this match, the butterfly effect I mentioned at the very beginning. Because England didn't just beat New Zealand, they crushed their net run rate.
Right. And net run rate, or NRR, is the ultimate tiebreaker in tournament standings. It essentially calculates how fast a team scores its runs compared to how fast it allows the opposition to score.
Right. So let's look at the West Indies. Earlier in the day, the West Indies suffered an upset loss to Ireland.
Yep.
They were sitting in the locker room, assuming their tournament was basically over. But because New Zealand needed to win to advance, and instead they got absolutely steamrolled by Wyatt-Hodge with 16 balls to spare, New Zealand's net run rate plummeted.
It tanked.
The margin of England's victory mathematically dragged New Zealand below the West Indies in the final standings.
It is a phenomenal twist of fate. The West Indies advanced to the semifinals entirely on the back of England's ruthless efficiency.
It's wild.
It really highlights how interconnected every single over of a World Cup group stage truly is.
Exactly. So why does all of this matter to you, the listener? Why spend this time analyzing a single cricket match? Because you didn't just hear a recap of a sporting event today. You witnessed an inflection point.
Yeah, a real turning point.
You saw the retirement of 448 caps worth of foundational talent in Devine, Bates, and Tahuhu. You saw the West Indies gifted a semifinal spot through the complex math of net run rate, and you saw an undefeated host nation playing in front of a record-shattering 21,018 fans elevate the ceiling of what is possible in a run chase.
And that attendance figure is honestly the ultimate indicator of the sport's health. I mean, 21,000 people showing up for a group stage match proves that the tactical depth and the athletic brilliance on display are capturing a massive global audience.
It's incredible to see.
The commercial and cultural power of this sport has finally reached a critical mass.
It feels like the tectonic plates of the game are shifting right under our feet. Which leaves me with one final thought for you to chew on as we wrap up. We saw a passing of the torch in this match. As legends step away, players like Wyatt-Hodge are redefining the physics and psychology of batting. If an undefeated team can chase down 164 runs against the defending champions, adapt to a rain delay mid-innings, and still win with 16 deliveries to spare, the baseline metrics of the sport have changed.
Absolutely. The benchmarks of excellence are being rewritten in real time.
Exactly. So how long will it be before a target of 164 is no longer considered a formidable, panic-inducing mountain in women's T20? How long until that sea of 21,000 fans at the Oval looks at 164 on the scoreboard and simply shrugs, seeing it not as a monumental challenge, but just a standard baseline par score? The frontier of the game has moved, and England is currently the team mapping it out.